Ivan, looks can be deceiving.
I'm Ivan.
I'm Nick.
This is DIY Detail. This white Subaru may look white and bright, but like you said, looks can be deceiving. It is highly contaminated. So I just sprayed a bit of iron remover. It's not the way we normally do it. A lot of companies will go out there and have you spraying iron remover willy-nilly all over the vehicle, just so you can see it bleed. Well, you can see this one bleed, but we'll just do it in a small section because we have a much more easy way of decontaminating, safer, and uses a lot less of this.
That's just the first step. This
Right.
Subaru Outback, Ivan, we're going to decontaminate, wash, of course.
Yep.
And then we're going to polish and apply a ceramic coating into it. So it's sort of shiny, sort of glossy. We're going to really brighten up the paint by
Exactly.
removing what's embedded there now.
Exactly.
And then we're going to protect this for years to come.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be a sexy sports car.
No.
Subaru is surely something satisfactory.
Exactly.
I have a Subaru, so I mean, safe is cool, as I like to think, driving my kids around in the Subaru.
Yeah, exactly.
Anyway, there you go.
No, and Subarus, you know, they're a great car. They're safe, they're reliable, they're fun to drive, and this one is just about to get better.
Yeah, I mean, in Utah, having a Subaru is amazing. So you can see already, there is contamination on the paint.
Right. You couldn't see it with your eyes, but the iron remover finds it for you. And now, let's get to the wash.
All right, what do we do when we start a vehicle? We typically put some all clean on the wheels, and that is what I will do here.
Get the camera out of the way, we don't want to get it wet.
That's all cleaner, all-purpose cleaner, diluted 15:1, 15 parts water, 1 part solution. It's also the way that it comes pre-diluted in our 16-ounce bottles, as you can find on DIYdetail.com. We also sell it in the concentrate form, and in that case, you can dilute it yourself, and if you have an IK foamer like this, which just so happens to be what we have, you can go ahead and foam, give it a lot of dwell time, and it certainly does clean a little bit better when it has that time to sit on the paint.
Exactly. Gonna get in here, make sure the wheels are nice and clean.
Yeah, the faces of the wheels clean up real easy.
Yep.
Not a crazy amount of browning on these tires, although the all clean certainly brings that out.
But it's the paint that is just full of those orange dots, and anyone with a white vehicle, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're not a detailer or a car person or whatever, you start to see those orange dots, and the first thing you think of, Ivan, is rust.
Exactly. And if you have a dark colored vehicle, there's a place that you can see those dots to see if your vehicle is indeed contaminated. And that is your license plate. In a lot of states, a lot of provinces, the license plate has a white background with different colored letters. That white background also accumulates contamination. And you will see on your license plate a bit of contamination. If you want to test your vehicle for contamination, very easy. Throw a bit on your license plate, see if it turns red. If it does, you need to decontaminate the rest of the vehicle.
Spray the iron remover on the license plate and see if it bleeds.
Exactly.
Oh, I never knew that.
Just like this one is doing here.
We make video after video, Ivan, and I'm
Always learning from you.
Exactly. Now we're gonna let Nick foam the vehicle. It's looking white now. Wait till he's done.
Incredible suds. How many ounces do we have in our foam cannon, Ivan?
We have one as far as I know.
There could have been some glug-glug action going on at some point. Not sure who would have done that. Let's get it.
Nick, that almost looks like our friend Rick from the Rad Garage foamed the car.
You mean Amazing Suds? I don't think that I filled that one. I'm gonna blame you on that one, Ivan, but
Could be.
All right, we're doing the foam method.
Right. We'll let it dwell. We're gonna rinse and then foam it again. What it's doing at this moment is the surfactants are breaking down the dirt on the surface, carrying it safely away from the vehicle, trying not to damage it. By doing so, we're taking it down. We're doing justice to the paint and cleaning it at the same time. There will be a bit of traffic film remaining, but we'll get that in the next step. Off you go, Nick. Make it wet.
So a couple of thoughts, Ivan. The first foam dwell time is your friend.
Exactly.
So oftentimes we'll do all clean on the wheels and then foam and then do the wheels.
Yeah.
So we'll give it a little more dwell time. Dwell time can be your enemy if we're talking about direct sunlight. I wouldn't recommend a heavy dwell sesh in direct sunlight.
Exactly.
Then there's gonna be 2 rinsings, right? So there's the first rinse.
Right.
Then we're gonna foam again, which we'll get to that in a second. So what are you thinking about in that first rinse? We're gonna foam this again and wash, so maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah.
But what am I concentrating on with that first rinse? Because I know I'm gonna be washing this thing again, decontaminating it. It doesn't have to be a perfect rinse. Like, so for me, I'm looking for these seams.
Yeah.
Is there dirt and accumulation that I can get off of the paint first, right?
Exactly.
Because I don't want that under my mitt.
Right, that first rinse is grit removal, if I can look at it that way. So we're removing the grit. We're using the Incredible Suds, its power to do that, and the rinsing. This is the rinse where we want to get the grit out. The big, vast majority of the paint, we don't have to dwell a lot of time. But like you're saying, around the mirrors, around any moldings, door handles, the window belt line, those are areas you want to concentrate a little more.
And the hope is that the dirt has been emulsified, making it sort of cushioned more safely, so when the pressure washer hits it with PSI, it's not driving it right into the paint. It's giving it a cushion upon which to sail off the paint.
Exactly.
That's what we're doing here, guys, in case you're wondering.
Now this time we're not going for incredibly thick suds, even though Incredible Suds did not disappoint. We have incredibly thick suds. What we're going for this time is safety on the paint, lubrication. When we hit it with our wash mitt, bingo, we have safety. And we have a nice, beautiful glide, a cushioning that the mitt just wants to go across the paint, glides across, has fun doing so. Now, we're missing one thing though. Our bucket has soap, has water, but it doesn't have Incredible Suds. That is, just yet. A volcano of foam, just waiting to clean a car. From here, we take our wash mitt, we deposit it on the vehicle, and we glide it effortlessly along the paint. Excellent lubrication. We're gonna make this white paint even whiter. We can feel the slickness and the safety behind this. This is really a safe, easy process. I'm applying no pressure whatsoever to the mitt because there's no need to. The chemicals do the talking and the work. Dip my mitt, come back to the next panel, and just keep going along.
Now, Ivan, there's no need for this brush here, but if I know a Subaru, I know a vehicle that's gonna be driving a lot of outdoorsy places.
Right.
And might get some bug guts.
Exactly.
So this green flag tip brush, available on DIYdetail.com, could actually rinse out when you're done if you used it for wheels. Maybe just use it for your paint on this job. You could actually have it in your wash bucket.
Oh, you can,
and
definitely.
At this stage, you've foamed, rinsed, foamed. This could be a nice time for you, with no pressure at all. It gets into all those seams around the lights, and it's a really nice way to go after bug guts.
Yeah, and to those people that are on their keyboards at this moment going, I would never use a brush on paint. Meanwhile, they see another detailer online with a brush similar to this on the paint, all around the emblems. So they take this fancy little brush and they'll go around a mirror, they'll go around an emblem. Well, most of the people doing that just foam the car once and then they start brushing. Guess what they're doing? That grit that is around the emblem, they're driving it into the paint, they're scratching the paint. This way is a lot safer. Now, that nylon brush that Nick has, the flag tips, makes it incredibly soft, incredibly safe to use on the paint. But, like Nick is doing now, you can use it on the plastic, on the grill. You can get in anywhere with it. Oh.
Yeah, all the little fingers, it just feels very, there's a lot of body here.
Yeah, exactly.
It just does a nice job.
You're not applying pressure. And if you have one of these brushes, please, for the safety of your paint, adopt a foam, rinse foam method before using the brush. Don't just foam on the paint and then all of a sudden start brushing away, because that grit that's there, guess what you're doing with this brush? You're driving it in. You're bringing it around that emblem that's very difficult to polish around. In the middle of the hood, if Nick were to use this brush, something like this, a lot of people would be aghast. They would go, oh no, it's gonna be swirled, it's gonna be scratched. Well, it's not gonna be scratched because we foamed, we rinsed, we foamed. There's protection, there's lubrication, and we have a super safe brush. But those people that take that little brush and go at something without doing a foam rinse foam, they're causing potential damage.
Yeah, I like the side mirrors for this. I mean, you get animated when you talk about this brush because people get freaked out.
Oh, they do.
And for years, you've been telling them it's perfectly safe. I love it up there along the windshield.
Yeah, the windshield header.
Yep, because sometimes bug guts get right in here, and I'll try to get a little microfiber towel in there. But you can just let the crease of that just like that.
Yeah, just gets in there, does a great job while you're there, Nick.
I'm not trying to make this a personal thing and say that only Subarus get bug guts, but for whatever reason, Subaru interiors, when I'm a detailer, they always have the dog hair from the nasty camping trips for years, and then they got the bug guts. And that's me talking about my own people.
And then next on the agenda is the decontamination stage. So we've washed, we've cleaned, we've made the paint safe with no grit. Then we take our decontamination towel. And no, it is not a clay towel. There's no clay has been used in the making of our towel. No paint will be harmed with the use of our towel. Instead, it will be exfoliated, it will be decontaminated, and all that dirt will be gone.
If you've got dwell time as your friend, if you got a garage out of sunlight, now's the perfect time to start using the decontamination towel on a bed of incredible suds. We still have plenty of car soap on this paint, and if you know Incredible Suds, you know it is incredibly slick.
That it is.
It's quite incredible.
And it smells nice too. And speaking of smelling nice, our iron remover does not smell nice. No one has ever accused it of being a pleasant odor. But by using a lot less of it like we do, it's not an offensive odor either. It doesn't smell like you just overtook a hair salon that is having a sale on perms.
One panel, one side of the towel, and then I flip. I do one spray of iron remover on the paint, one on the towel, depositing the towel on the paint where I sprayed. The problem that I see with this paint, Ivan, is that some of these little deposits, these rust deposits almost, these iron deposits, they are stubborn. They don't want to move. What do I do?
Well, you actually leave them there because we're going to be polishing the paint. And the iron remover will have done its job by the time you come back. Now, if you're not going to be polishing, great. Do that door, leave the iron remover to do its job, and come back to it in a few minutes.
So let the iron remover dwell after we've done a no pressure set of passes.
Exactly.
And when I get frustrated that the deposits aren't moving and I spray another spray of iron remover, is that just a waste of product?
That's a big waste of product and a waste of your time. Don't get frustrated, move on to the next panel, let the chemical do its job, and come back, and you can finish the job.
I think there's something in my head where I'm like, I just want everything to be gone visually before I move on.
Right.
That's the old clay bar mentality.
That, Nick, and you know of a term called chat.
Right, so there's 4 words: chemical, heat, agitation, and time. They're the pillars of cleaning. And time is dwell time, Ivan, so what you're telling me is we're gonna see some added effectiveness with dwell time with the iron remover.
Exactly. Let the dwell time do its job. Let the chemical do its job. You can't expect to spray it on the surface and immediately have all the contamination disappear that's been accumulating for God knows how long.
Did you get this front quarter?
I've just done the roof.
Okay, I didn't think you had that. Just wanted to double check. It's not that you really hear a lot, although here, right behind the wheel, I heard quite a bit of contamination, I felt it, and now the paint is smoothed out, which is beautiful. It's just I see a couple of little deposits that we're gonna let be for now, let the iron remover dwell, and know that we're doing the right steps here.
Yeah. And don't get impatient or frustrated with your towel. If you put pressure on it, it's gonna push back. It's not gonna do what you ask of it, and it's not gonna do a good job. So the less pressure you use on your decontamination towel, the better it is. Now there's a spot up here, it's a stone chip. And One thing, if you have a vehicle, and most of you watching probably do have a vehicle, in the manufacturing process, all these panels, these lower panels, they're generally made of galvanized steel, which means when you get a stone chip, it doesn't rust immediately. The roof, cost-saving measure by a lot of manufacturers, is not galvanized, meaning that when you get a stone chip up here, it quickly becomes rusty. Did you do the windows, Nick?
I did not do the windows, no.
Okay. Always important to decontaminate your windows. They get dirty too. They need your love as well. The windshield, all of this.
It may look like I'm applying pressure, but there is nothing. It's just letting the towel and the chemical work for me.
If you're paying them to do a job, let them get the job done. Pay particular attention to the rear end of the vehicle, where the aerodynamics make it so that there's a vortex back here of dirt as you're going down the road, just accumulating and getting in everywhere, and more drastically, bonding to the paint.
One tip that can be really nice is the fender lip. So you're done with the paint, you're done with the glass. So the last step is I'll just go right in here, no pressure, and just see what that'll do. Tends to clean up. On white paint especially, I just find that when that area around the wheel is white and bright, it adds a lot of pop to your finished product.
Exactly.
So I'll go ahead and rinse this out in water.
Now, when we're done with the towels, as Nick just mentioned, we have a bucket here. We're gonna let them dwell in here. But when we're done the detail, leave them flat to dry, decontamination side up. When you're dealing with iron remover, you wanna be very thorough when you're rinsing. You'll notice we have red streaks coming from the handles here, coming from this molding. That means there's a lot of accumulation there. And the iron remover tends to seep in to these areas. If you don't rinse it properly, later, next time it rains, you might get another little red streak coming down. Because the rails are full length on this roof, I'm not going left to right because the water can't escape off that side. So I'm gonna push it all the way to the front. That way I know I've rinsed the roof off correctly, and when I do the sides, I don't have to worry about the roof. One little pro tip with your pressure washer is up here, around the tailgate. It's always difficult to clean up there. We're gonna use pressure and just clean out. That way, you're using the water to do the job for you. Nick, pressure washer's work is done for today.
Let's dry.
Yep. Some people are looking at this paint and going, guys, why are you polishing this? Looks beautiful.
It does look brighter after the decon.
It does. But when you inspect closely, you see that, well, car wash may have been used at some point in its life.
Yeah, there's scratches here that we can certainly reduce the appearance of. We can add some gloss. There's some marks on this paint that may come off with some machine polishing.
And we're not going for an in-depth paint correction session with multiple steps. What we want is a gloss enhancement, first and foremost. Secondly, get rid of some of those car wash love marks.
On white paint, I don't see most of the stuff anyway.
No.
So if I could just get a boost in gloss.
Right.
And remove, like you said, some of those scratches, but not all.
And also, it's a deeper cleaning of the paint itself.
That's true, yeah. Your paint, if it's clean, will be very receptive to that ceramic coating, and that's the goal here.
Yep.
Longevity, letting the coating adhere to simply paint. Nothing else left behind. Nothing that was built up there or residue from an iron remover. Just everything is fully clean.
So Nick, why don't we ask the people to watch this time lapse of us polishing, getting it done, and then we'll see you when we're ready to install the coating, which through the miracle of editing will probably be in a few seconds. Nick, that was fast, that was fun, that was easy, and we amped up the gloss.
The rotary jeweling pad for the win. And now we're going to use another red pad. This is our coating applicator, and we're gonna apply the 5-year, the glossiest in our lineup, ceramic coating.
Exactly. I'm gonna put about 10 drops on the pad to start. And since I'm starting, I'm not gonna box the edges. I'm gonna go in the middle of the panel and just spread the coating. And when I'm spreading it, at the same time, I'm getting it all on my pad, and then I can box my section and fill it in with a circular motion. Spreading the coating nice and evenly. Now we have high humidity in here today, so the coating is going to cure rather quickly. It's very hard to see on white paint. If your first coating job is on a white vehicle, you're not lucky.
You might leave some high spots, but that does mean your paint is protected, so.
Yeah, exactly.
You've got that going for you.
So you have to look at it, and as we move around the light, we can sometimes see what looks like an oil slick on water. And when 50% of that oil slick on water has gone away, we'll do a test. And that test will reveal whether it's time to wipe or time to wait.
Take your towel, move it, and stop. Lift the towel up. If you see the indentations, the perforations of the towel in the paint, likely it is too soon. Ivan, what do you see?
I see them, so it's probably a minute too soon.
Yeah, I see them as well.
Yeah,
It's
and if it
pretty clear.
feels like you're moving liquid around, it's because you are. The leveling towel, as the name implies, is there to level the coating. It is not there to remove the coating. We're just wanting to spread any high spots. And Nick, now it's looking, just caught a bit of it on the light here. Give it another try.
No, I don't see it. I see the coating.
We're good.
Okay.
And it should feel slick.
It feels a little grabby.
Oh, then maybe wait a few seconds more.
Yeah, I think, but now it's starting to get a little slicker. It's so tough because what it feels like versus what it actually is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is based on our perception of sight, and that clouds my judgment, right? And I could just close my eyes, I suppose, and just, I know we're close because we've installed these coatings so many times. So I have my first leveling towel, and then I'm just gonna use this as my insurance wipe.
And I'm starting from the center of the hood and working my way out. That way when Nick is wiping, he's gonna do the same. And I started on the other side, even though I have the intention of coating that side first. That way I can coat the fender while Nick is over here leveling that section. That way we're not in each other's way. And if you're working by yourself, you want to do that as well. Meaning that you'll do one section, you'll test it, and when you're ready, you level it. And once you know the rhythm, how much time it takes, it gets really easy. So what you can do half of the hood, wait a few minutes, level it. Once you know what that rhythm is, then you can do the other side of the hood, come back here, apply to this fender, and then go back over there to level it, and then apply to the door, level the fender, and just keep going along the vehicle like that. Now, if your vehicle is black, you're in luck. It's the easiest color to coat. But if your vehicle is white, there is a trick to get a feel for the leveling and how the coating cross-links, and that is using a tinted window. So we'll come over here, we'll apply it to the tinted window, and now we can easily see the coating. We can see how thick it's going on. We can see the cross-linking, we can see the rainbow, or the oil slick on water look. And then as it starts to dissipate, we can wipe the glass off. Now, on glass, it cross-links a little faster. The reason for that is it's a different substrate. And clear coat is like, well, clear coat is a plastic. So it's gonna go into the plastic and it takes a little less time. Whereas on the window, Even though a window is porous, not as smooth as you think, but it's gonna cross-link just a little faster.
We talk about it a lot. Plastics, windows, pretty much coat and level right away.
Yeah, I'll come back to this front fender, and I'm purposely overlapping onto the bumper, onto that headlight, and onto the door.
And you can absolutely get high spots on windows, folks, and they're very visible, especially on tinted windows.
Yes.
Because of the contrast with how dark the window is when it's clean. It looks pretty good when it's dirty, but when you get a clean vehicle and you have the high spots on the tinted windows,
Yep.
very easy to see.
So Nick, I've done the front fender, and to get out of your way, I'm gonna go up the A-pillar and meet you on the rear quarter panel.
Sounds good. Sounds very good.
That way, once again, I'm out of his way, he's out of mine. We're not interfering with each other, and the coating is going on in a seamless manner. So once you get good at this, especially if you're working in a team, it is extremely quick. You can work around the vehicle with ease, with rapidity, and lots of fun.
Yeah, once you get a system, it is pretty fun, Ivan. Feeling good about this one. My towel game is strong.
Yeah. So the whole quarter panel is done, including the rear window. And when he's done leveling the A-pillar and above the driver's door, I can start in this area. And I'm going to start with a mirror. But the last part I'm going to do is the mirror face itself. Because since it's glass, it is going to cure a little faster. And I want to give Nick time to come back here.
And remember, Ivan is purposely applying the coating overlapping onto other panels. So I am just being very cognizant of the fact that I need to level past the panel that he's coated, and then I need to insurance wipe layer as well.
Right. That way we know we're not missing any seams. You know, there's some coatings out there, and they're older technology, that if you overlap, it actually causes problems.
Okay, so I got to this quarter and I'm back.
Yeah.
Remind me where I'm going next.
You're doing the mirror face first, but the mirror, the driver's window. We've already done this window here, and you're going to do the B-pillar as well. So we've already done this window here, which means I can start doing this door. I'm going to box it in, making sure I'm past those edges once again, and then fill it in with a circle. Now, you'll notice I'm starting at the front of the door, working my way back. That way, when Nick is leveling, he knows exactly where I've been and in what order. Meaning he's going to start at the front of the door and level front to back as well. By having a system like that, instead of, oh, I'm going to do over here, then maybe down there, and then over there, it gives you a much better result. You're not going to get too many high spots because you're spreading the coating evenly, and you know where you've been. And what can happen as well, one thing you have to be cautious of is actually not using too much coating. Because you can put the coating on, level it, and it looks great. But if it's on there thick, it's formed a little crust, but you still have some solvent trapped under that crust, and it eventually comes through, causing a high spot. So passenger's door is done, driver's door is not. And with that, once I'm done this driver's door, other than the roof, this side of the Subaru is done.
That's amazing. That's pretty fast, Ivan. I'm guessing that's the idea.
That's the idea. Coating should not be difficult. It's an easy thing to do. If you can wax a car, I find waxing a car more difficult than applying a coating. Yes, you have a few little things to look out for when you're applying coating, which is be sure to be methodical, get it everywhere, because if you miss a spot, it's going to show. And if you have a high spot, well, that's going to show as well. But they're not as dramatic as a lot of people make them sound. You're not going to die because your car has a high spot. What you are going to do, if you catch it within the first couple hours, is just add a little coating on your applicator, give it a little rub, and level it, and you're done. High spot is gone. If you notice it a day or two later, again, no travesty there. You take a bit of polish on a short nap microfiber towel, and you polish for a few seconds, look at it, wipe it off, and see how much of that high spot you remove. Because remember, a high spot is excessive coating. So you want to remove the excess. You don't want to remove the coating that's there. And if you do it right, slowly in little steps, you're actually not going to remove the coating underneath. You don't have to recoat.
Ivan, the towel is so slick against the paint.
Right.
My insurance towel is doing what it was meant to do, following the leveling towel and making this ceramic coating job just about over.
And if you like this type of video, please subscribe, hit the notification bell, give us a thumbs up, and watch this one.